Like always, and like we always do, we'll be looking at what we do best in the course of the program. Usually, I'm sure for those of you conversant with us, Lagos album is not new to you. It's part of what we say, what we do, showcasing the landmarks in Lagos, and of course, the interview segment where you get to meet our guest. And today, we'll be taking a look at effective waste management in Lagos State, keeping in line with the order and mandate of Mr. Governor, His Excellency Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, that the environment needs to be different from what it is. That narrative will come to see shortly. Then Lagos-centric is another thing we'll be bringing you in the course of the program today, with focus on something that we all do every day. And our Lagos Fact will take a look at the Todd Mainland Bridge. On the street, we will get to know how many LCDs we have in the entire local government. LCDs constituting the components of the state called Lagos. Then the health tips. Well, without taking much of your time, it's good to have you join us. I say big welcome, and I remain sincerely yours, Obafemi Craig, thanking you so very much. As we said to bring you, before I unveil my guest, let's take a treat. You know, it's Friday. Friday usually has to do with more of entertainment. So let's take a look at Lagos album, and together we'll be back and you get to meet my guest. Welcome back. It's still Lagos Today, and it's coming to you live from our studios. Well, you recall that His Excellency did say that the second part of that pillar of the focus of the focus of this administration has to do with health and environment, and the governor was specific when he said, to keep our environment clean and healthy, we will rejig the waste management system by getting LAWMA to deliver better on its mandate as the regulator, while the PSP model will be made to respond better in collection of waste in Lagos. And again, on the advocacy on the other side of it, the governor did say that we have planned to turn waste to wealth. This we will do by incentivizing waste sorting by our people. We must begin to separate organic waste from other household waste and put them in separate waste bags for recycling companies that will in turn turn this to waste to primary and secondary raw materials, who of course, if properly sought out, will bring in more money and more wealth. But one man has been saddled with the responsibility to do this assignment, and I'm so glad that, you see, when we talk about younger generations doing great jobs, I think we need to give kudos to this fine gentleman. He is the managing director of LAWMA, Lagos Waste Management Authority, in the person of Mr. Muyiwa Badageshi. We thank you for having the time, as part of your very tight schedule, to be here today, sir.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. And may I say good afternoon, Lagos.
It's a great honor to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, the mandate I have just read by His Excellency, and I know that if anything we've been saying, it speaks volume of how much ready you are also taking up that task. Can you take us through how well and this far that you have come in living with the mandate given to you?
Well, it's this assignment, it didn't just start in the last few weeks. We had a 4-week transition period at LAWMA, during which my team understudied the outgoing Managing Director, CEO, Mr. Olaoresonya. But even before that, last year, His Excellency the Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, had brought a few of us together in a planning and strategy group. And that group developed the manifesto, which I believe you were reading from a few moments ago.
That's right.
Fast forward to the transition period, and His Excellency asked me to be the team lead for the Health and Environment Committee. And I took up that responsibility, and it was a wonderful learning experience.
A wonderful learning experience.
Which spanned about 2 months,
wow.
During which we studied the history, the problems, the challenges, and we developed solutions. It was like going back to school. That experience made me to learn more about the type of person the governor is, because I didn't know that he was preparing me for this assignment at the time. My background is, started out in academia. I studied neuroscience, and I have served as a commissioner for health in the past. So I thought that was why I was asked to be in health and environment, not knowing that
you have more greater responsibility.
Yes.
So then it's not unexpected. As a doctor, I mean, you didn't buy it. I mean, you really acquired it, and
yes.
To be the CEO speaks volume too. Yeah. So it is believing in your capacity and your competence. I believe so.
Thank you. I hope so. I hope I can prove that. But it leads me to, I mentioned that I studied neuroscience. And if you think about the problem of waste in Lagos, it's not a problem of how to move waste from point A to point B and how to dispose of it. Because when we're talking about waste management, we're talking about 3 general processes: collection, transport, and disposal. We can do that very efficiently. If you go out now, you see hundreds of our trucks moving all over town. I'm sure many of you see the compactor trucks going from spot to spot, trying to eliminate what we call dark spots. These are places where some residents of Lagos insist on continuing to dispose waste illegally. That's one of the biggest challenges. But like I said, we can move this waste and pack it away quite efficiently. But you have to ask the question, why would people behave in this way?
That's right.
And that's why, for me, the problem of waste in Lagos is more a problem of human behavior. And that's what I want us to start thinking about. It's a problem of human behavior.
So how do we now, with what you've said, you're taking us to a new perspective of these understanding. Apparently, like you said, they collect, transport, dispose has been the subject matter of this course over time. But this is a new perspective to it, human behavior. But there is a need to contain it. There is a need to nip it in the bud. And there is a need to curb this excessiveness that people have come to terms with. So what are you doing to address this?
That's what we're doing right now. We're starting this conversation. And we are trying to appeal to Lagosians that we must work hand in hand, each and every one of us in our communities. Why must we insist on disposing waste for the government to pack? We know the laws. For example, there's a law that says that every household must keep its waste in a container. You must have a waste bin. Whether you want to use a drum or you want to buy one of the wheelie bins, you are supposed to contain your waste at home. And the private sector, the operators will come with the compactor trucks.
The PSP.
The PSP will load that waste and move it to the disposal site. Why do people insist on breaking the law? For example, I'll tell you, even at the level of enforcement, we are always very busy. Every day we arrest several people for the illegal dumping, and they're sentenced to community service. And yet they still persist in doing that. So we're exploring, we're trying to find, yes, it's true that many of the PSP operators have operational issues. Due to the policy somersaults of the last few years, a lot of their equipment is run down. And so His Excellency is planning on looking into finding solutions for that. If you recall, a few years ago, the state was able to procure compactor trucks for the PSP operators. Perhaps that's something we would look at doing again to assist them. Even now, the government is providing bridging facilities to support their operations. And we're looking at even more solutions, if possible. I mean, I believe that any resident of Lagos should be able to afford containers. But in the past, under the land use charge program, we actually provided a percentage of the land use charge. Once you pay your land use charge, you were given the bin, the waste bin. And that's another option we're looking at to assist those who may not be able to afford, and then those who do pay their land use charge. And so there are multiple solutions. The advocacy is ongoing. It's a constant program. My presence here today is also
I know you have these advocacy team. I know
yes,
they are always on the move.
Yes, the advocacy.
I saw some of them yesterday.
Yes,
and I said I did this, just to, if for anything, it is the motivation to say thank you for a job well done. But we need to do more in this area. Yes. Minus what you are doing, the need to also let PSP also distribute waste disposal bags.
Yes.
I understand that so much you are also doing in that regard.
Oh, yes, we have for this festive season. We're distributing free trash bags to many areas, of millions of bags, just to enable people to containerize their waste. It makes it easier to pack. Aside from that, we've ramped up our operations. We have more vehicles out there. We have more personnel. We have more than 10,000 street sweepers who will be operating throughout the festive period. Because, as you may be aware, during festive period like Ileya and Christmas, we generate double and sometimes triple the volume of waste. So we're prepared to address this challenge during the long vacation, the long holiday. And even beyond that, we're still going to introduce various measures. We're going to increase improve the enforcement. Enforcement is not a blunt. We're not trying to hurt people. It could be something as simple as telling them where to dump their waste, and don't dump here, dump there. But there will always be some recalcitrant ones.
Definitely, they do that at night.
Absolutely.
And all
so
of that.
We are partnering with LAGESC. That's the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps, to improve that level of enforcement.
But what we observe too from our findings is that most of these illegal dumping are usually done at night. I know that I'm happy you said you're collaborating with LAGESC, Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps. But how about the local government? At one time, on that axis of Penn Cinema by the stadium, it became a very certain site. But the local government and LAGESC came, they manned men there 24 hours, and I believe you, Mr., there was nothing like that. So they got to know that, look, if you don't do it again, we're going to close your shops, and it became something that's sick into there. Are you working towards such thinking?
Thanks for bringing that up. That's exactly what we plan to do. You mentioned the local government,
That's right.
and they have a critical role to play. I was with His Excellency yesterday, and he, when I suggested this to him, he immediately said, yes, we will call them and talk to them. They will be able to support us even better than what LAWMA cannot cover
everything.
Every nook
That's
and crack.
right. You must
kind of
collaborate.
So we're looking forward to a close collaboration with the local government to enforce within their neighborhood, and we believe that with that collaborative approach, we'll be able to achieve a lot.
Are you also extending days to the Lodgers, the Baba
Oh, absolutely. In fact,
the
yes.
NURTW,
Yes,
all of these motor parks operators, they are all involved, and it's a collective thing.
Absolutely, and even the religious leaders.
That's right. That's another angle.
The Council of Imams has very graciously agreed to make announcements. They're making announcements today and through the festive period, pleading with people to obey the sanitation laws. We like to say that cleanliness is next to godliness.
That's appropriate.
And if we're worshiping God, how can we worship God in a filthy environment? And that's what we're pleading with people, that as you worship God, think about the fact that God has given you the environment to take custody of and to manage well. He said, be ye fruitful and multiply.
That's right.
Take dominion over the earth.
Exactly.
He didn't say destroy the earth. He said take care of it. So we're truly children of God, and we should be particular about a clean environment. And so they have agreed, and we're also going to, all the other religious groups, we're going to sit down and talk to them so that they can also support us, because we believe that the message will get out much better that way.
Doc, you will permit me to just take a break here. I want us to see this together. We call it Lagos-centric, and usually, in Lagos, there are some things people are fond of doing, but we don't take it seriously. But then, it's something that speaks volume of the kind of lifestyle people live in Lagos. So Lagos-centric here, sir, it's taking you through to see something about a delicious thing that Lagosians do behind the scene. And Lagos-centric, here we come, and let's say it.
One of the things that makes Lagos unique is the popular agege bread. Agege bread is known for its soft, stretchy, and chewy texture. It is a staple of most homes.
See, Mama Kiwari said, after here, I dey go that one place, Yako drink. Every day, we dey shop agege bread. Me and my party, agege bread, na the best bread. If say this bread all day, I don't know what our eyes will receive for agege.
It better pass just butter bread or something bread. Agege is the best bread.
Nǹkan tí mo ṣe like agege bread ni wípé ó wà okay.
So much enjoy agege bread. It's one of the best bread in the whole world. Even like my children, they love agege bread. So once I bought sliced bread, they will keep it aside. But once I bought agege bread, they normally use butter, eat it, and they smile with me. So agege bread is very, very good for health.
Agege bread can be eaten alone or taken with beans, stew, fried or boiled egg, pepper soup, groundnut, fish, akara, butter, and moi moi.
With beans or akara, anyhow.
Every day, even though beans all day, we shop our butter. Butter all day, we go 5 million. Dilute ourselves.
Ẹ̀wà dẹ̀ ni mo máa fi ń jẹ. Ìgbà mi mo dẹ̀ máa fi ń mu tíì tàbí kí n fi butter sí. Ó wà okay dáadáa. Kò sí pé bí ẹbí ń pààyàn pé tí yẹn bá yà ti rí butter, tí yẹn bá ti rí agege bread, ìyẹn jẹun lọ ni.
Let me just call it A and B. Akara bread, you understand, it goes with agege bread so much. Also, it goes with beans also too, you understand. But butter too goes with. But mostly, akara fits agege bread so much.
To many residents in Lagos, no day is complete without eating agege bread.
Yes, so good to have you back. There, and that Agege bread, it's just part of the Lagos life and what we do and what Lagosians do behind the scene. And my guest still is very much here, Dr. Muyiwa Agbadegesin, the MD CEO of LAWMA, and together we're taking a look at effective waste management in Lagos State. Doc, that was a showcase of Agege bread. On Agege bread. How do you feel? I've been saying that.
Oh, I love Agege bread.
Oh, you also take it, sir?
Yeah. I don't do sliced bread and Agege bread.
Wow.
Preferably with beans.
Doc, that's a good one. I think I will also adjust that. If Doc can, I think I will do same too. Oh, Doc, that's a good one. Thank you for that. All right, sir. Now let's look at the way out. Whether we like it or not, the people must buy into what the government is saying. They don't have a choice because the government is set to serve them and also give them the dividends of democracy. So we must connect somewhere. So in all of this arrangement now, sir, how far do you think you're going to work effectively to achieve the result in this partnering with the stakeholders, aside the local government, to let people know the good work you are doing that we can all see for now, but more still needs to be done?
We believe in partnership. So in rolling out all our programs, the first thing we think about is, you alluded to the fact that LAWMA is a regulator in your introduction. LAWMA is not an operator. We're not meant to be the ones picking up the waste on the street. We have PSP operators.
That's right.
And our job is to regulate their activities, ensure that they are able to operate effectively, and that they're providing good service to homeowners. And we also, I was with the PSP operators a couple of days ago, and we had a very good meeting, myself and the outgoing MD CEO. And these are committed people. Many of them have been in the business for a couple of decades, because the PSP model started in the 80s, 1982. So it's not a new thing in Lagos. What we have to do going forward is to expand on that system and ensure that they can work well and make an income. They've created a lot of jobs, and we believe that they can create even more. In fact, His Excellency is particularly interested in reinventing the model of waste collection by introducing recycling. We call it recycling, and we also like to look at it as the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. That means what we're trying to achieve is to reduce the total volume of waste that goes to the landfill site. You'll notice that I think it was on the first or second day in office, His Excellency visited Olushosu.
That's right.
And you can see how much that landfill site is under extreme pressure. We have plans to close that down in the next 2 to 3 years. But even if we open up new landfill sites, we still have to figure out how to reduce the total volume of waste we generate. We are introducing recycling. His Excellency will be launching a sorting at source program in a few weeks' time. And he has already mandated production of specially colored bags for this, which he will be rolling out. This will be distributed to each household. And then we're going to partner with recyclers. And in Lagos, we have about 600 recycling organizations. So once again, the government is not going to do this alone. We're going to partner with stakeholders. And the recyclers are also creating a lot of jobs. As a matter of fact, the launch program will most likely take place at Olushosu itself. His Excellency will be launching a resource center there that's designed to train recyclers, those who are interested in recycling. It could be young, unemployed people. We're going to train them there on how to get into the recycling business, which, from my rough estimates, we're still doing the data, is generating billions and billions because they get these PET bottles and they crush them, and then they have multiple uses. A lot of the things which we throw away are still of value. So why are we throwing them away? So we want to look at how we can take, for example, if you look at organic material, the food scraps, vegetables, all these things that we go and dump in the landfill sites, those things can be converted to fertilizer through a composting process. So why can't we have a network of composting facilities around the city? Instead of these things going to the landfill, we reduce them to compost. The states can use those in our greening program, because we have a goal of planting, I think it used to be 1 million trees, but I think we can have 2 million trees in Lagos. So
it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Green the city, make it beautiful. The trees will help to clean up the air.
That's right.
That's the function of trees. They soak up all the filth that we generate. So we need to look into that. And so with a combination of these new programs, I believe that we will be able to manage our waste problem better. Now, the problem of waste is not unique to Lagos. It's not, nobody should say that Lagosians are dirtier than others. Fine, we may have some illegal people who dump illegally among us, but the problem of waste has always been a problem ever since you've had concentrations of human beings.
Not even with the influx of people to Lagos every day as we speak, we know maybe another 1 million has also entered from the various
absolutely. So it becomes ancient Rome. The first problem they had was one of the first earliest cities was waste. What were they going to do with their waste? And even till today, Rome is still struggling with the problem of waste. You may be aware that since last year they've had a waste crisis.
That's right.
And so dealing with the problem requires thinking outside the box. And I believe that is the approach that His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu has brought into the waste management sector. The introduction of recycling, sorting at source, composting, all these things are going to have an impact in the next few years.
So you made mention of the 3 R's again: reduce, reuse, recycling, giving us all of these analyses, and of course imagine of how the government will really tackle this, which is very commendable. But some school of thought are thinking, sir, that we could, under the aspect of reduce, that we could use the child advocacy to reach out even to everybody. I don't know if there is a plan to look into this, whereby this advocacy can factor in the use of children as ambassadors that could also be singing this thing every day to mommy and daddy in the car, mommy and daddy in the home, mommy and daddy in the kitchen, and even to grandmas and aunts and uncles, so that life can be better, that we must get it right. Is there anything like that in the making?
Absolutely. I think maybe you wear a different hat sometimes as a waste management consultant.
No, I'm just concerned.
No, that's
I'm just concerned and bitter about.
You're on the right track. And as a matter of fact, there are some recycling NGOs who are already doing that, and we're looking at how we can partner with them and expand that program. There are a couple of schools that I'm aware of where the children are given rebates on their school fees when they bring plastics to the school. So there's I can't remember, I think it's a bank that's supporting that program. So they're buying the PET bottles. So the children from a young age are imbibing that idea of recycling, reducing and recycling. Now, there's so many things that you can do under reduce. For example, what about the packaging? We have so much packaging that's unnecessary. Instead of you buying 20 bottles, why not buy one large bottle that will last longer? Instead of using PET bottles, why not use a water bottle? When I was growing up, we had plastic water bottles that we fill each day when we're going to school. By the time you come back, it's empty. The next day, you fill it again. But nowadays, people drink from the bottle and throw it away, and they don't care what happens to it. And those bottles never go away. If you walk around,
we now see the outcome of them.
You see plastic bottles. If I had my way, we would ban plastics.
Well, it's not impossible. The government can see
that's something that, and like I said, it has to be a conversation.
That's right. Dialogue.
It has to be a dialogue.
Democracy.
And people should, agree with what we're doing and support it, because you can't. If you say you want to ban it, it's another thing to enforce that ban. But if Lagosians agree that we are drowning in plastic, then we should have the conversation and see
make it happen.
About banning plastic.
You made reference to the resource center. and I'm sure Lagosians are already looking up to these that will train people in the processes of recycling. What will it involve? How will people get involved in it, and how are they going to really connect with you and be part of this, so that all of what we are saying will become a success story at the end of the day?
Okay, yes, definitely. By the time we roll out the program, we're going to present all the details. We'll have a website. People can go and register, and we will do it. I'm sure there's a lot of interest. Thousands and thousands of people who see this as an opportunity to make a living. But that center is going to be there permanently, and people can register, and it's going to be free.
Oh, free?
It will be free, yes.
So that is even more encouraging to let people come in, and all the young ones out there, they can even become entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Wow. In all of this, I must commend you for this great job. The aspect of enforcement is still something that you must also take very seriously. I wouldn't know, but that's just some of the things that they said we should look at. Because if we don't begin this rigorous enforcement, the advocacy is already ongoing. You are here as part of it. They are there on the road doing it. Enforcement too is rather key in all of this arrangement. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. Enforcement is important. If you recall, one of His Excellency's first action on assuming office was to sign an executive order on sanitation, on environment and sanitation. And that shows the level of seriousness of the government. But you have a carrot and stick approach. When you want to enforce the law, you can give an initial dispensation. So the first few months, fine. We're rolling out and we're warning people, don't dump illegally and so on. At a point in time, we will, like I said, we're bringing in the local governments, we're bringing in LAGESC, we're moving out. We started a program along the Orile corridor, which we launched a couple of weeks ago, cleaning up that corridor, which has been abandoned for years, and reopening it, removing the waste, and reclaiming land that's being used illegally by criminals, by all kinds of characters that they come out and attack you when you ask them to. But we are starting that process, and it's going to become stronger and stronger, and eventually people will start getting the message that there's zero tolerance to environmental infractions in the state.
But whether you like it or not, the night thing must still be effective. So said some people, because the little you did, the 4 a.m. thing, I tell you sincerely, made a very powerful mark, and they need to sustain that drive. Some people are asking that it will be a good thing. Are you thinking along that line?
We're still doing that. Lagos at 4 a.m. is still ongoing. It's still ongoing. Every morning we go out from 4 to 8. The idea being that by 8 a.m. there should be no filth on the roads of Lagos. And so that program is going to be sustained. So the area where perhaps we need to improve on is what you mentioned, policing. How do we increase?
I love the way you've just used this, policing. That's right, policing.
So policing at night. How do we improve the effectiveness of that policing so that the waste doesn't hit the road in the first place? But even before then, what I mentioned earlier is also important, which is that we need to containerize the waste at home. Don't bring your waste to the road.
Just dump it.
Keep it at home even if we're going to bring it, you're supposed to pay. But many areas, people don't pay, and yet the government will go and pick it up. We'll pick it up from your household. We don't want to pick it up from the street. So we are pleading with people to keep your waste at home in a container, and the PSPs will come and pick that up. If you have problems with the PSPs, you can always reach out to us. We have toll-free lines.
I'm sure the toll-free lines will come. I will please request my producer. Let's have that advocacy where we talked about the toll-free lines. I'm sure that will come. If Doctor will still want to make reference to them, but we have something in that can be used to give us the insight. My producer will appreciate if that is done. But give and take, Doctor, let us look at the fact that those black spots, those black ends that must be, what are you going to do with them? Are we going to ensure that they are totally closed, or turn such black spots into something else that will change the narrative for us?
Yes, when we reclaim or we clear black.
Okay, I will let you come to answer that. Let's just quickly take this promo, and it's just thank you, my producer, for giving us this request that we did ask.
Zero tolerance on environmental degradation in Lagos State is on. Do not empty your waste in canals, road medians, and open spaces. Do not block the waterways. Do not erect illegal structures and shanties. The Lagos State government remains resolute in ridding the state of filth. Operation Lagos at 4 a.m. by the Lagos Waste Management Authority, LAWMA, ensures prompt evacuation of refuse. Clean-up exercise of the environment is ongoing all across the state. Dear Lagosians, the task of effective and efficient waste management is a collective responsibility. Always sort and bag your waste properly and place them in dust bins for the PSP operators to evacuate. Should you have any challenge disposing your waste, please call these LAWMA toll-free lines 5577 0708 0601 020 or 0705 5893 400. Remember, a clean environment begins with you. Let us work together with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to achieve the Lagos of our dreams. This message is powered by Lagos Television.
Well, Doctor, that's it from our own contribution of what the General Manager, the management, and of course staff of LTV feel committed to ensure that Ekunlati Sowa, we have done that, and we need to really continue to do that. So how are we going to ensure that those black spots are really addressed? You were on the floor before we took that break.
Okay, so in what we do is that when we've cleared the black spots, we place signs on it, do not dump litter here. But we also partner with the Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency.
Okay.
So in many instances, they now take over that area and landscape and fence it around. And sometimes you discover abandoned land which people have converted to illegal dump sites. We also fence those around and take them over and convert them to. Some of those we're actually going to convert into community recycling hubs. Which is a way of, you kickstarting this new reduce, reuse, recycle economy. So yes, we do try to occupy those spaces. If you along the Orile corridor, we're going to take over a number of key locations, convert them into recycling hubs in which private people can begin to do that business. And the recyclables come there, and from there they can go to the off-takers.
Well, Dr. Muyiwa Gbadigesin, the CEO, we cannot thank you enough. And you rightly said it, cleanliness is nearer to godliness. And a clean environment begins with you and I, and together we must all make it a collective effort to so do. You must leave us now, sir, but we won't let you go without you giving us your parting words. Talk to them, you need to encourage them, and so that we can say thank you for a job well done.
Well, it's been a pleasure being here this afternoon. I want to tell all Lagosians that together we can work to keep Lagos clean. Lagos is a wonderful place, and I believe that we owe it to ourselves to take good care of our environment, to maintain a sanitary environment, because this is the beginning of so many great things, primarily good health, our safety, our security. So thank you all, and I love you all.
All right, that's just it from the Managing Director, CEO of LAWMA, Dr. Muyiwa Gbadigesin, thanking and loving you all, but then asking that let's make it a collective effort that we keep our environment not only clean, but indeed make it the very best so that we can even sit together and make the best of it. We want to thank you for today. It's a Friday edition. We can come your way again until next week, God willing, sparing our lives. But we will not leave you without letting you have your usuals. We'll bring you the Lagos facts, the on the street, the health tips. Will complement all of what we've said, and please let us ensure we play a good part, a good role to make Lagos better for everybody. Good afternoon. Do have a nice weekend.
don't have an idea. That's the truth.
I just visited Lagos State. I don't know about Lagos State.
In Lagos State, actually I'm from Oyo State.
That I cannot really be sure in Lagos State because I can't tell.
I don't live in Lagos State, so I wouldn't know.
About 37.
I think it's 20 something.
I think it's 57.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Golden melon is a sizable bright yellow melon with a pale green to white inner flesh. It is botanically known as Cucumis melon. Golden melon is originally from Europe and Africa before spreading to other parts of the world. It is distinguished from other melons because of its golden color with succulent, juicy flesh. Golden melon is of great importance to us due to its high medical and nutritional benefits. Golden melon contains essential minerals and nutrients such as vitamin C, pantothenic acid, calcium, zinc, vitamin B6, fiber, magnesium, iron, potassium, vitamin A, and omega-3. Studies reveal that those vitamins are super essential for the healthy functioning of our body systems. Golden melon promotes hair growth, hydrates the body due to high water content. It helps to regulate blood pressure level due to the presence of potassium. Golden melon prevents constipation because of the presence of dietary fiber. Golden melon is effective for aiding easy digestion of food. Golden melon improves the skin and sight. It prevents cardiovascular diseases. Various foods can be gotten and made out of golden melon, such as salad, smoothie, and juice.